Betty biscuits. Love them.
So professional.
Oh no, that's me. That's totally me. I'm making, with my mouth full. I'm making the Cheaty Trifle in Cheaty Land. How about that?
Is that the title?
The cheatiest trifle in Cheaty Land. Okay, now this trifle I'm making a different way for many years, but it's with strawberries and raspberries and it's a lovely summer trifle. I found some rhubarb up end of garden, and it sprouted, it just went bananas. And I thought, well, I'm going to get some because it's actually been it hasn't been very good, has it? And then suddenly it had loads of rhubarb, so I thought, well, I'm going to pick it, I'm going to cook it, and I'm going to make a trifle with it. What do you get if you have trifle in your ear? You're trifle deaf. That's my dad's worst joke in the world. He'll watch this and he'll go, yeah, that's me. So what really goes well with rhubarb is orange and ginger. Okay, so we're going to go along that theme for this Cheaty trifle, which looks magnificent, like with all the puddings I do, John, as you know. Little effort, big wow factor. That's the way to describe it, and that's what this is. So I've got my beautiful bowl. Isn't that gorgeous? That we had in Minori. We got in Minori, didn't we?
On the Amalfi Coast.
Yeah, on the Amalfi Coast. So beautiful, beautiful dish. And I thought, well, it's not your traditional trifle dish, which is usually clear so you can see the layers. This is kind of just a beautiful dish, so I just want to use it. And the bottom of it, instead of Swiss roll, I am using sticky Jamaican ginger cake.
Shouldn't you be making the ginger cake?
No, because it's cheap. If you want to make a lovely ginger cake, by all means do. I'm not going to stop you, but this is the cheap one in the Cheaty Land, so you can cheat. And you can buy yourself a lovely sticky ginger cake. So I actually make some really nice little Christmas chocky nibbles with this. I crumb this and I add marmalade to it and roll it into little balls and dip it in chocolate.
Could you do me a favour and move the custard pot, because I can't actually see
My
what you're doing.
homemade custard. I could actually do that. I could actually just do that with this custard. Couldn't you? Just like that. Yeah. I'm going to cut my ginger cake into little slices, okay? And this is going to lay in the bottom of the trifle dish. There we go. So pop it on there. Move my peas are so sweet. And just lay them. So this is giving the lovely trifle base, and it's going to be a sticky, gooey, gorgeous base to the trifle. Okay. Do you like trifle?
I love trifle. Never had this sort of trifle before.
No, this is a different trifle. It's a very different trifle. There's nothing, I mean, I love a good traditional trifle, and I love jelly as well. I love jelly in a trifle. It's the way it is, isn't it? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But then, just sometimes it's quite nice to have something slightly different. So that's why I'm using the ginger cake. There we go, already made, beautifully done, big cheat, soaking now. Ginger cake would be beautiful with rum, and actually that's what I put in the petit fours as well with the marmalade. But I actually think with the rhubarb, the rum won't go so well. So I'm using some lovely masala, which is a very warm, Christmassy, kind of rummy, gingery alcohol. It hasn't got ginger in the alcohol, but it's just warm. So I think it'll work really well. So give it a good soak. And don't be afraid, this is a trifle, right? And trifles need a bit of booze. Do they not, sir? So give that a good soak. Can you see? You can see there's a little bit of dribble at the bottom, but that cake, look at it, it's just going to soak all that beautiful masala up. So you have your booze element, all right? The next thing we're going to do is put in this. Now this is the rhubarb that I cooked. I cooked it in some orange zest, tiny bit of water, and then I sprinkled it just as it was cooling with some icing sugar. Now that is still quite tart, and that's exactly how I want it, okay? It's not so tart that my cheeks are going like that. It's just got a little tweak of tartness, which is going to be good because everything else that's going into this trifle is really, really sweet. So you just want a little bit of tart to take the edge off it, so don't oversweet it. And so that's had the orange zest and just that little bit of water and a tiny bit of icing sugar. Okay, so I'm going to spread that over the top of the cake. Right, so that's your rhubarb. Next, I am going to make my custard here, homemade custard, as you can see. I'm going to make this custard orange by adding orange zest to it, okay? Simple as that. So just, again, a fantastic cheat. So it's very like my chocolate mess recipe, which you can also find on my Instagram and on my YouTube page. I have done chocolate mess, haven't I? I say that. I have done chocolate mess. Have I done chocolate mess? Did I do chocolate mess?
I think you've done some chocolate.
Yeah, I think I did do it.
Thing.
Anyway, it's in my cooking book, but it's very similar where you'll turn this custard into a chocolate custard by literally adding melted chocolate to it. Genius. And then you get this lovely sort of chocolate puddingy type custard, which you layer up with rum and with amaretti biscuits, and you add flake to it and everything. It's another brilliant cheap food, which I've made for years using up, I originally made it using up old Dawson salt I had in the cupboard, which is a lot of the cooking that I do. So really this whole trifle has just come from the fact that I actually managed to find some rhubarb in the garden. And so I've never made a rhubarb trifle before. This is the first time for that. I think it's going to work because I've used some really lovely different flavours in there, but they do really work well. And I think this is a great dish to have on your Sunday lunch table. What do you think?
Sounds lovely.
Right, so now I've just made this custard orange by adding the orange zest. Now that's all I'm going to do to this custard, okay? That is it. So this is going to get piled on top of the rhubarb. So it's basically a rhubarb and custard trifle, isn't it really? But it's a cheaty trifle in cheaty land. So pour the orange custard from your tin on top. Now if you really want to, I'm not going to tell you off if you want to get the nice fresh ready-made cream from the cold counter, or even if you want to actually make it yourself.
You mean custard?
What did I say?
Cream.
No, I meant custard. Yes, sorry, custard. If you want to buy the fresh custard, you by all means can. But you know, as I said, this is a cheaty trifle, so you don't really need to. Just fresh up. That's very orangey. Right, next, simply amaretti biscuits. So rhubarb goes really well with almond too. So you've got rhubarb, you've got almond, you've got ginger, and you've got orange, and they all work well together with a little bit of boozy roux on the bottom. So just some of them I'm just going to crumble just to give they all sort of mix in. Like that. And then the rest I'm just going to pile on. Now I'm going to make sure that I get plenty around the edge, because when I plop the cream on top, I want to be able to see the layer, a few of these just poking out. Okay. And there we are. Right. So, next. We've got ginger at the bottom, so I thought, well, we need ginger on top. So I've got some of this. This is stem ginger, okay, in a sugary syrup. So I'm going to grab one, maybe two, out of here, and I'm just going to slice them up. There we go. Slice them into little pieces, thin as you can. I want them in slices, I don't want them chopped, and I'll tell you why, because I want people to be able to find a decent sized piece of the ginger. Okay. I hate it when you just have namby-pamby ginger. If you're going to do ginger, do ginger. If you don't like ginger, don't pop it in. But if you like ginger, I'm doing big bits in it, so you come across it and you think, yeah, that's fab. We've got some ginger in there. I just go 1, 2, just to make sure I have enough. So that's that. And there's some cream. So I'm just going to whip this cream up. You might have to just cut for a sec, John, and do it for me. A bit wet now. I'm wet. I've just been out in the pouring rain retrieving roses for the top of the trifle. That's what I do for my art. Whip the cream, thank you for that. A little bit of the ginger syrup goes into the cream.
Nice.
Okay.
So it's going to be quite gingery then, this.
But yeah. It's sort of a rhubarb and ginger trifle with a hint of orange, really, isn't it? Right, so I just want to make this enough to kind of soft peaks, okay? Don't over whip it. I'm going to put the ginger in, okay? Okay, so lovely lumps of ginger go in. They just get folded through, okay? As I said, if you don't like ginger, you don't have to put so much in. You can probably just put the ginger syrup in if you don't like the pieces of it, but we love the pieces of the ginger here, so that's why I'm doing it. Right, fine. Let me just clear out some of my mess.
I'll be there all day.
Cleared. Network, you like to wash it up, don't you? It'll be fine because it's if you wash it up. It's a favourite job. It's your favourite job, isn't it? Washing up. Actually, I tell you what he is now, sourdough man. There's some more sourdough.
Yeah, I can't be doing washing up. I've got sourdough to make in a minute.
It's just too important now because he makes sourdough. And it's really good, which is very irritating. Let's put the cream on top. Just fluffy clouds of cream just piled on top of the trifle. Now, remember I said to you about I want to see around the edges, okay? So that doesn't matter, but it's just plopped in the middle. I'm going to spread it a little bit. But what I want is to just be able to see the other layers through, okay? I say the other layers, you want to see a bit of custard and you want to see a little bit of amaretti in there. Oh yeah, that ginger. Spot on. Okay, so just do that. A little bit of cream on top. Spread. Spread. Right, lovely. Next, one rose. That smells beautiful. Another little rose. So we're going to have lots of different types of roses on top. Now, they're edible, okay? Make sure they haven't been picked or sprayed. Picked where a dog might have a whittle, or sprayed with anything. You want to avoid that. Best not to have one that's been near a roadside, a busy road, for obvious reasons. These are all from the garden. That's where I got wet, because it's pouring with rain. And this little one is falling apart. I might just be able to retrieve a little bit of it and just tuck it in because I like to have different colours. So, 1 rose, 2 rose, 3 rose. One of those little raspberry ripples there. So we'll just kind of tuck that one underneath. It's just like half a rose, will be fine. That on top of there, so you've got all your lovely little roses. And then just to finish, a few toasted almonds. What is it about nuts, John?
When you toast them, you have to be careful.
Yeah. Because what happens? If you smell your nuts burning, it's too late, isn't it? So far, you've been quite lucky with your nuts, haven't you? Yeah. Do you think that joke's getting a bit old?
Yeah.
All right, and there you go. So, and then finally...
Oh, I wondered when the glitter was coming out.
A little bit of edible glitter, just over the top. Over the roses, so the roses have a little bit of glitter too, and so does the top of the trifle. Okay, now how about that for a beautiful little summer trifle using sort of the end of the rhubarb season, but with ginger in there, and there's orange, and there's all manner of deliciousness going on. That on a Sunday lunch table would be gorgeous, wouldn't it? Or the end of a barbecue. And do you know what's really good about it? A, it's really cheaty, because I didn't have to do very much, and I assembled it in minutes. And B, what's B? B. Oh yeah, you can assemble it about 1.5 hours, 2 hours before. Right, be fine. It all just gets a bit squidgy, but it'll be absolutely fine. Right, I'm getting in. I'm going to go right to the bottom, that ginger cake, right at the bottom, John, and the rhubarb. Oh my God. That's so good.